Good afternoon. It's Mike Palmer here again. Going through this whole house tutorial, trying to go through all the steps can about this house. Now we just did the insulation video. So the insulation's all been passed, so now we're ready to sheetrock. So the sheetrock just got delivered. This is a stack of sheetrock in the garage. Now there's generally two widths of sheetrock that you, a wallboard that you work with. This is 48 inches. Now, they're very deliberate about where they put the sheetrock and why. All right, these walls in the garage, we've got 9-foot walls in the house, plus this floor system is a 2x10, which is 9 1/4 inches. You've got a 3/4 inch piece of subfloor is 10 inches, and then you've got an inch and a half bottom plate. So that is just about a foot, just about 12 inches. So 9 foot, that's 10 feet. So these are 4 feet. So you put 2 4 feet and you run half a board. So it's very efficient and you don't have a lot of waste. And the spacing, it's all in fact, so that these are 12 foot long, so that your 12-foot increments will fall right on these. They put half a board there and half a board there, and then you have to cut them at the end. But you want to have minimum cuts and minimum waste. Now inside the house, these are 9-foot walls, except where it's cathedraled. So you notice there's two sizes of wallboard here. So for the walls, these are 54 inches, which is 4.5 feet. That is half the height of a 9-foot wall. So you put the first piece up at the top, and next piece up at the bottom, then you have a small space underneath, and you try to keep the cuts to a minimum and the waste to a minimum. But up on the ceiling, they go back to 48-inch boards. So these boards are not quite as wide. You can see the difference here. They're stacked. Now, when they come in and deliver this, one thing I like about the ply gem windows is every one of them is called a sheetrock window, meaning you can take the top sash out and you can unscrew a crossbar and take both sashes out, so you have enough space to bring that sheetrock in. Some other windows you have to specify a specific sheetrock window, right, that comes apart easily, and then you need to locate that strategically. And so many times it gets put in the wrong spot. The sheetrock delivery guys there, they end up beating the heck out of the window, and you have to buy a new window. So with the ply gem, they're called dry-glazed. I mean, when the window is put in here, they've got a foam strip that seals it in, that seals the air. You can kind of see it there. So that window comes out and goes back in. With some other ones, they've got a silicone caulk around the silicone sealant, and that makes it much harder to get that window out of there when you got to replace it. I've done it several times, but it's really hard. You got to get this long knife, and if your wrist just twists a little bit, it ends up cracking the window. Then you're getting new glass, and it takes a long time to get the glass from the manufacturer. So the dry glazed ones are much more convenient if you ever have to replace windows or if the seals break. Anyway, right here, see, these are, and there's different heights, and they put this, like they put this clamp right here, screw it to the wall, so that way this will not fall over. I remember when we were insulating, when I was an insulator, guys would stand on that and we'd always yell at them, you do not want these to fall over on you, because this wallboard is very, very heavy. And I mean, if it goes on your leg or something, you can say goodbye to that leg. So it's much safer to have them on the floor, but I'm really glad that they now do this, put these cables up here for safety so that this does not fall on anybody. And you never know what goes on here, because so many homeowners, you know, we prefer homeowners stay off the job site because it's not necessarily the safest place in the world. So they bring their kids and they bring their pets and they bring their neighbors, which we really prefer they don't, because, you know, there are safety concerns. See here, here's this cable again to keep this stack of sheetrock from falling over on somebody. That's good delivery. Now, and oh, when they put sheetrock up on the walls, okay, see around a window and a door opening, they don't cut little pieces. They put the whole piece up there. then they take a router and route out the edges. And because if you put pieces on the top and everywhere, you can have a million seams, and the more seams you have in the drywall, the more chances are that those seams are going to show and have issues. And let me show you something else. When the seams of this drywall, when they butt together, they're all upside down. Hard to really see, but see the edges? See, there's a space there. They're tapered because what they do is they put a piece of the special drywall tape on there, and that where that's tapered, that forms like a little void in there, and then they can take their sheetrock mud and take a knife and smooth it out so that fills up the void. It's kind of hard to explain, but hopefully tomorrow when they're hanging these, we can get back here and make a video and show all that to you. But when they hang the sheetrock, these guys are fast. They've got to get done in one day. Now, they don't have to, but a lot of times they do. When you're on the second floor, this particular house has 8-foot ceilings. So we have all 48-inch, 4-foot drywall here. All right, now when they hang drywall, when they have to hang it on the ceiling, okay, they call this deadwood right here. This wood has to be put up during framing, so when they put sheetrock here, they have something to screw the sheetrock into. It really doesn't perform any structural purpose. It's just something to receive screws. So you want to try to, we do that at the end, but we want to try to use up scrap wood and wood that we weren't able to use for anything else because it doesn't need to have any structural value. So that's just another wood managing tip. Now in the bonus room here, it's that end window where they usually bring it in. They have a big boom truck, and they have a bunch of guys sliding it in. They have special carts with rollers, and they roll it across here. So this is all the sheetrock for the bonus room. But you want it close to where you install it because this is very heavy, and you don't want to carry too much around. So they do place it strategically. Now, the last part of this is our blue board. Oh, in the garage, we have 5/8-inch sheetrock for the ceiling. Typically, it's 1/2-inch thick sheetrock, but for fire code, we're required to have a 5/8 in the garage ceiling. But this is blue board. You see, we call it blue board. It's purple color. That's a water mold resistant board, and you put that in your wet areas, meaning your bathrooms, behind sinks, behind tubs. That's where the steam comes in, and that's where countertops. A lot of times over the years, when water drips behind countertops, you can't really see it. So I've got the blue board up here, and they've got the blue board down here, right over by the master. Right here. And this is all 48-inch, just because you're putting up smaller quantities and tighter spaces, and usually a good amount of cuts to it. And once again, it's got this nice safety cable here. Can't tell you how much I like that, because this is dangerous stuff. There's no shortage of people getting hurt on construction sites. I've shot nails into myself. I've fallen off ladders. Never fell off a roof, but I had a really close call. That's when I decided that Father Time had told me I needed to be the general contractor and start working from the neck up instead of the neck down. But I had my years as a good, effective horse, and it's time to pass that on to the younger guys. But they get the 4-foot sheetrock on top because they're going to do the ceiling first. And we've got a lot of excess lumber here that the lumber company is supposed to be coming to pick up. They still give us credit for it. It's nice to keep it in the garage, keep it out of the weather, but every time you do that, the sheetrockers come in and throw it back outside. The painters come in and throw it back outside because they need a clear floor for insulation, because they're walking on stilts, and they can't be having things in their way to trip on. So anyhow, that's our sheetrock delivery. It gets really fun when we hang the sheetrock, because there's an interesting phenomenon. When they first lay out the house and you just have stakes on the ground, I've gotten this comment my whole career. Oh my God, that's so small. Is that right? That looks tiny. And then we build the foundation, and then we frame it, and the more we close it in, the bigger it looks and the bigger it feels. So once a sheetrock goes on there, the house starts to even feel bigger. And it is a pretty exciting phase because the house comes to life. And we're still wanting to get our siding here, but it's been really too cold and too nasty and too many holidays and too many ice raids to get the brick done. So that's coming soon. It's still not slowing us down. It takes a lot longer to finish the inside than the outside. But once we get this sheetrock hung, we can bring in the cabinets and the trim, and it starts to get fun. Anyway, thanks again for watching. And if you see things of value or learning anything, I mean, I hate groveling for likes, but it does help the algorithm, helps get our message out. So if you like anything here or you found it of value, please hit the like and the subscribe button, because we still have a lot more videos to come.